Okay, so we've done the lesson or we've done some thin slicing. We've taken a note or we have done some type of summary, some individual summary. So what comes next? Well, we need to do some deliberate practice, and there's just no getting around this. We have to do deliberate practice. I'd give this a 5 out of 5 star. It takes a bit of time, maybe 5 minutes, to find an appropriate worksheet. And they're gonna be able to do this for about 20 minutes. They're sitting independently at their desks at this point in time, and they're working away at a concept. So they already know how to do what you're going to ask them to do, and you've got some type of worksheet for them. Sometimes, if appropriate or when appropriate, I've got multiple levels of the same concept of a worksheet. So again, following my mild, medium, and spicy ideas. And here's the kicker though, this is what we need to do. So we need to have them hand in this completed worksheet when they are done, or at the end of the period, actually, not when they're done, just as far as they get. And why do we do this? Well, we do this because practice makes perfect. Okay, but here's where it's going to change a little bit from maybe what you would have seen before. So this feedback loop, we've got to close this feedback loop. This is a 5-star practice for sure. So this does take a bit of time. Okay, so to set this up, you might need 15 minutes. And then the kids are going to work on it for about 5 to 10 minutes as well. So the students have done some deliberate practice on a worksheet and they're going to hand it in. And you are going to have a look at it today. And I know that seems crazy, but it is worth it because this is what's going to happen. You're going to take a highlighter and you are going to highlight all of the areas that need correction. You do not need to give them more feedback. You just highlight what is wrong and anything that they need to attend to. Then the next day, you're going to give these sheets back to the student, and it has to be the next day, otherwise it won't work. And you are going to tell them that they are going to make all of their corrections and then hand it back in. So why does this work? One, they recognize that they have to do the whole sheet either today or tomorrow. Either way, they got to get it all done. So their goal now is to complete this sheet as thoroughly and as correctly as possible so that when they get it back, they don't have a lot of extra work to do. And this is usually this happens right at the beginning of class before we start in with a new concept. Typically, it doesn't have to, but this is usually where it falls. While this is happening, I am recording some observation data. So remember when we were talking about how we were going to talk about recording the observation data from the thin slicing? This is happening now for me. So I am taking their stack of deliberate practice and I'm highlighting it. And then I'm going to, I'll show you my tracking sheet. So let's say this is deliberate practice sheet 1 for this learning objective, and Alex got them all right. So for my class, I have a green highlighter that I use because green is good. Betty only got some right, so she gets a yellow. She's like, it's okay. It's kind of like a yellow caution light. This is what I use to highlight because it's the easiest highlighter to buy. So it's the one that I have access to or I'm going to have on hand. So it's what I highlight all the mistakes in as well. And maybe Carl has some work too to do, so he might also get a yellow highlight as well. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to give them their sheets back. And they are going to think about what their mistakes are. I'm not telling them. They need to figure it out. They need to figure out what they did wrong and they need to fix it. And this is super valuable because this means that the process is important. Learning is the goal. So they have work to do. Until they get it right, they still have work to do. Then they resubmit it. And I tell them, I'm not recording any data until you submit it the second time. I'm going to give you a chance to fix it up. That was your rough work. And now I'm going to record it. It really, I have recorded some stuff, but really the practice of getting and the idea of getting a second chance of being able to check it and then hand it back in, using my feedback immediately and making sure that I have it all correct is so valuable that I will literally give them any tail just to make this happen. So they hand it all back in. Alex didn't have any corrections, so he just pretty much handed it back in right away. Sometimes I don't even hand out Alex's, okay? So then Betty, she recognized that she forgot a negative in a bunch of spots, so she has made all of those corrections. So right over top of this yellow highlighter that I have in Betty's square, I'm going to highlight green, just like Alex. And the beauty of the yellow highlighter is it can be buried under any other color. So now I've highlighted over Betty's and it's green. So Alex is green, Betty is green. Carl still does not know how to fill in the blank. Maybe it's adding fractions. Carl still doesn't know how to add fractions. All of the mistakes are still kind of the same, or he still hasn't, I haven't heard him say anything about how to do this. And so in over the yellow, I'm going to highlight a pink or a red. And that will cue me, okay, I got to find time. I've got to touch base with Carl because he still doesn't know how to do this skill. So he's going to need some more dedicated intervention. All right. So we know that math can be tedious and it's not everybody's favorite. So this is a carrot. So these are my projects. So I would give this a 3.5 star. It is a decent strategy. We set up a project with the students. It takes about 25 minutes to set up, and the projects typically last 2 to 4 periods. And we only do 1 period a week that is dedicated to project time. I usually like to take it on Wednesdays. It just breaks up the kids, breaks up the week for the kids, and or I will leave it for supply. Okay, so we'll get to that a little bit later. So how you're going to do this. You come up with a list of ideas that the students would like to learn about, like anything. It's grade 9 math. Everything has math in it. Everything has math. And so we're math teachers. We know how to make a project out of literally everything. So I'm doing a poll. I'm saying, what do you want to learn about? Like, you want to learn about food? You want to learn about travel? You want to learn about, some kid wants to learn about taxes. You want to learn about a business. You want to learn about anything. So then we're taking a poll, we're finding a topic, and we're going to come up with a rubric so that we know what a good project is going to look like. If it's possible, I love to add an interesting element of competition. I will offer a perfect project score for the project that does fill in the blank. And in the end, it really doesn't make any difference to their grades overall. So it's just a little carrot. So this, why we do this? Because we can't do math every single day, all day. It's just too much. And really, honestly, if you have those kids working 75 minutes, 4 periods a week, you can justify taking one class to engage in something a little bit more application based. But it's not like we're not doing math. It's not a freebie. Okay. But at the same time, while students are working on a project, if somebody was away, you can maybe work on them one-on-one because projects are pretty independent. So I don't find I spend a lot of time like supporting students on a project day. And this is why it's an easy day to leave for supply because the kids are so keen to work on their project that they're good to go. And they're directing their own learning. They've chosen it. They've created the rubric, so they know what they want to do. So one of my favorite projects is this Lego project. So I have a bunch of Lego that I brought in from when my kids were young. And so this is great because so the kids first have to design a Lego set. So it's just random Lego. So this was the winner of the semester 1 project from this year. He made a Legend of Zelda project and he went above and beyond. Most students don't actually print out their posters, but we do get printed posters. So he printed it out and he put it right on a box, which was actually super cool. And so on a Lego box, you have to have these things. You have to tell me how many pieces there are. You have to tell me how much it costs. And we talk about what's a good value for Lego. And then I have this spreadsheet. So we're getting into a little bit of coding. It's really gentle coding experience. We're just doing some really basic stuff. We're talking about a 2x4 piece, a 2x6 piece. How many do we have? And I'm telling them that one Lego nub costs 1/100th of a penny. And so they're figuring out how much this Lego should cost from a manufacturing perspective. And this kid actually did some research and they found out that on average a good profit margin is 24%. So they were like, oh, I want to mark mine up 24%. And then we have this code in here to say, oh, I want to find out what 24% is of this cell. And I can't change it on here, but if we were to click onto this cell, then we would know that the total cost of the set was the profit plus the manufacturing cost. And the competition comes in After everybody has all of their posters made, we have a little bit of a Lego store, and it's whoever makes the most money. So we got to think about our profit and our cost, and our saleability of our sets in order to make the most amount of money. Okay, but that's really not like, it's super fun. The kids love it, but really we want to make sure that we're doing some really good assessments so we have something to talk about on our report cards and on parent teacher night. So this is what my assessment looked like. I love this assessment model. It takes me about 15 minutes to make. It lasts pretty well. So I've had pretty well, it lasts a full period. I do have some cohorts that take a little bit less time in it with it. So this is going to happen after we've had lots of practice with my peers. I've done some completed work. I've gotten some feedback. I've made some corrections. I've already worked at the boards. And so these questions are going to come at them in the same format, mild, medium, and spicy. So we already know, it's already super familiar. And ideally, when I have time and I'm not overwhelmed, I also will choose one next step to return a practice sheet with them. So why? Well, we need to have a good entry point. We want to make sure that that mild section can be done by everybody. And this might represent the student that's heading towards the workplace pathway, and it's going to demonstrate a limited understanding of the content. Okay, so we want to know that everybody can be successful. Learning is a personal journey. We're not comparing. It's okay if you only do that. So the only thing that's different on this day is that you are only working by yourself and maybe with support from me, but you're not working with your peers, because I want to know where you're learning ends. So I'll show you what this looks like. So this is one side. So typically there are 4 concepts that I'm covering on an assessment. And so I print this out on legal size paper, and my categories go across these columns. So first I've got an everyday problem. So very much like my mild warm-up problem that I was doing all week. What's that missing number? And I have not even put in a variable here because I want to make sure that you know that it's this number that goes into this blank to make this math sentence true. And then I'm getting into a little practical application. And so this is my like level 2, level 3 student, maybe even 3+, depending on the strategies that they show me. And I've got a little word problem here too to give them some context if they really need to see how it works. And then I've got something a little bit more challenging, where I've got some different representations of the divide sign and so just different steps that need to be done in a particular order. Okay, so everybody should be able to do, and also here's another thing, I do not allow for the kids to hand this in if it's not successful. If we haven't even done this mild section, these everyday problems, you cannot hand it in. You're not being successful. So you need to take it back and you need to keep working until you at least have this section done. You are not done until at least this is done. But most kids will try all the way across. Like, I don't have kids that only do the theoretical extensions. So, okay, so let's talk about organization, and so where these ideas are coming from. So this has taken me 1 to 2 hours to set up, and I organize my full semester all at once. I think about all the learning objectives that the students need to cover, and again, this has come from LKDSB. And I'm taking those introductory curriculum expectations out first, and I'm putting them into the calendar. We're going to cover them all first, and then we're going to do a second pass, and we're going to take all of the medium to spicy questions. We're going to start again. The reason why this works, the reason why spiraling works, is because we have multiple chances to see the same stuff. If we didn't get it before, maybe we can get it now. And it decreases this silo effect, okay? So when we take a break and then we come back, this is how we build long-term memory and storage. And in addition, all content is fresh for final. So this helps us make connections. And so I just want you to imagine a ring. And so if we have a pile of rings, all of these different rings are all disconnected from each other. When we activate prior knowledge, we connect the next learning to the previous learning. And so we can get a whole strand of rings when we have activated prior knowledge. But when we have activated prior knowledge and when we have combined application knowledge, then we are going to be able to make a chainmail or a fence because everything's going to be connected to everything else. And this is valuable.